Hello, I'm Jane Dutton, and in the next half an hour we'll take a look at the day's top local and international news stories. This is ENCA. The top stories today: Sean Abraham's removal is being widely welcomed, but is it enough to restore the NPA's integrity? The rand fights back after emerging markets take a hammering. We'll bring you the reasons behind the currency's weakness. And relief for Gautrain commuters as striking workers agree to a new wage deal. We start here. The question tonight: who is going to lead the National Prosecuting Authority out of its latest leadership impasse so that it becomes the effective crime-fighting body it should be? Today, the Constitutional Court ruled the appointment of Sean Abrahams as NPA head was invalid and unconstitutional, and that former President Jacob Zuma abused his powers by pushing for the 2015 exit of the previous head, Convalescent. Aaron Bates looks back at a crucial day for the NPA.
As president, Jacob Zuma was determined to oust then NDPP Convalescent, first in the form of an inquiry, and then with cold hard cash.
Former President Zuma was bent on getting rid of Mr. Nxasana by whatever means he could muster.
Nxasana left with a golden handshake of over 17 million rand. The Constitutional Court says that deal is invalid. So too, Abrams' appointment.
Former President Zuma appointed Advocate Abrahams following his unlawful removal of Mr. Nxasana. That removal was an abuse of power. Advocate Abrahams is a beneficiary of that abuse of power.
Nxasana says he's vindicated, but he has to repay over 10 million rand.
I just hope that when the justices came to their conclusion, they stepped into my shoes as well, because for the whole 3 years, my life has been hanging.
Stabilizing the NPA has been high on President Cyril Ramaphosa's agenda since taking office. In a statement, Ramaphosa's own party urges him to act sooner rather than later. Opposition parties are pleased. Abrams has refused comment and referred questions to the NPA's spokesperson.
He is massively disappointed. Remember, his fitness to hold office was not an issue. He was not party to the negotiated settlement. However, he respects the decision of the Apex Court.
Ramaphosa now has 90 days to appoint a new National Director of Public Prosecutions. Aaron Bates, Johannesburg.
The rand has clawed back much of its overnight losses against the US dollar, but it remains bruised from a broad sell-off in emerging market currencies. The slump in the Turkish currency has been the main driver behind the emerging market currency upset. The Turkish Central Bank stepped in with measures to address the meltdown in the lira. We'll have more on that later when we cross live to Turkey. But here at home, just more than 2 weeks ago, the rand traded at around 13 rand 10 cents to the dollar before reversing course due to a combination of factors, including land expropriation concerns. There are now increasing concerns over future petrol price and interest rate hikes, as the rand hovers at around 14 rand 50 to the greenback. FNB's Wayne McCurry says he's not too concerned.
I think the rand can actually strengthen below 14 because that is fair value. Above 14, the rand's actually too cheap and investors must not panic. If it goes below 14, the petrol price hike won't be much because the price of petrol's down a couple of dollars. As long as the rand behaves 13.50, 14, the petrol price won't be a massive increase. Of course, if it goes back to where it was overnight at above 15, then we will see, obviously, a very big increase in the petrol price. But don't panic yet. This seems to be a little bit of, quite an illiquid market, and obviously someone had to cover their positions, and the rand is recovering a little bit where we stand now.
A lobby group plans to call for a boycott of next year's general elections if the government doesn't reduce fuel prices. The People Against Petrol and Paraffin price increases led a march in Durban today. They caused massive traffic jams.
As all poor people are affected, so am I.
The increase of petrol, it affects every citizen of South Africa. Whether you are working or not working, whether you have got a car or you don't have a car, it affects you one way or the other.
We voted for them. We took them to the parliament. Even those other oppositions, they are not talking, they are not tabling these issues for us as community. So if they are not doing that, we are going to see each other on the 2019, where we will be lobbying the people not to go to the ballot box.
Government's rejected a list of properties allegedly targeted for expropriation without compensation. AfriForum has published the list, which features 195 properties. The list was allegedly leaked to them from inside the Department of Rural Development and Land Reform. This landowner says he was shocked when he saw his property on the list.
Ons het die WhatsApp gekry Sondagoggend met die name. En toe het ek gesien ons gebied waar ons woon is nommer 66 op die lys. So dit was Sondag die eerste keer dat ons geweet het ons is op die lys vir onteiening.
The Gautrain strike is officially over, but it'll take a few days before the service is fully operational. Union leaders agreed to a wage deal ending their 2-week-long wage strike. The deal follows marathon meetings over the weekend. The United National Transport Union initially wanted a 10% increase, but settled for 8%. Under the deal, the minimum wage will be increased and an incentive bonus will be introduced.
With a once-off payment guaranteed at the 31st of December of 5,000. The second 5,000 will be measured in terms of the company's performance from September 1 this year till August 31, 2019, and payment will be made on the second 5,000 depending on the performance at the end of September 2019.
A children's hospital in Cape Town has to close its doors because government funding has been cut. Some employees of the Sarah Fox Children's Convalescent Hospital will be out of work, and over 40 patients have to be transferred to alternative facilities. ENCA's Pilari Setusa reports.
This 50-year-old facility has less than a month left before its doors are shut. The Provincial Health Department has cut off its funding.
Because they are our main funder, basically more than 90% of the funds comes from them. Because they will be stopping it, there's no other funds that can get this hospital to carry on.
The step-down hospital provides recovery and rehabilitation services for children with special needs. Some of the 70 workers here will be out of work by month end.
In this letter of an exit strategy, they told us that the board of management or our management needs to, terminate our contracts.
In a statement, the Western Cape Department of Health says ongoing maladministration has forced its hand. Workers agree.
It's purely due to governance issues of the hospital, whether it's been years ago, whether it's been now. So again, our clinical service is not something, there hasn't been any crisis that has happened with or compromising of the patients that has led to this closure. If the problem is governance, take away the problem and leave the majority, which is the patients and the staff, leave them to be.
The board that manages the hospital is yet to respond to questions posed by ENCA. Either way, the lunchtime pickets are seemingly falling on deaf ears as patient transfers start. Piladi Setusa, Cape Town.
Still ahead, we discuss the political ramifications of the Turkish lira's free fall. We'll be live in Ankara. Stay with us.